Now, should benefits be cut to get more people into work? 0207 862 2222 is the number. Give us a call. According to reports, the government plans to slash £3 billion off the welfare budget by making it harder to claim sickness benefits. It's thought this will force more people into work. Actually, you may feel you've got an echo of this idea. I'm going to show you a picture of this is a rather nondescript guy here, right? You're thinking, who's this? He's a sort of middle-aged Tory minister, as it happens. Even if we give him a really sexy font, Mel, his name was. Mel Stride! Still not really ringing a bell? Well, here's the thing. He became a bit of a devil to some people because of an interview he gave. He caused a lot of shock with it. And surprise even among household pets. Because he said this. He said, look, too many people are labelling the normal anxieties of life as a mental health problem. Stride said, as a culture, we've forgotten that work is good for mental health. Stride said, I'm going to make lots and lots of people come back to work because I think they've only got mild problems, and they are effectively self-diagnosing conditions. And at that point, people said, God, this guy has absolutely jumped the shark. You can't say this stuff. But now Labour are saying it as well.
I know. What does one say? Actually, I don't know why he didn't get further in his bid to become leader. He makes all the right noises for this lot, doesn't this lot? But yeah, Labour is proving to be quite a shock to the system.
But might they, Labour and Mel Stride, famous Mel Stride, might they not be right?
I don't think one can generalise the way he's just been generalising. I don't think Labour is right because a lot of disabled people, genuinely disabled people, are absolutely terrified. And let me tell you what was going on.
Mental illness here, no, particularly mental illness.
Well, it's also the physical. I mean, the threat is all round. People on disability benefits are not just mentally ill.
Well, we've just seen a guy go into the House of Lords with no feet and no hands.
Yes, but
and
it can't all be like that.
And he's working.
I'm not sure I could do that. Could you?
I think he's going to inspire me to do it.
He's quite exceptional.
Craig,
isn't that amazing? There he is.
It is amazing. But to use that
He's not saying he can't work.
No, but that's okay. That people are different. People are different. But I also think it's really interesting that this has been going on a long time. Benefit punishment. Did you ever see this amazing Ken Loach film called I, Daniel?
I did, and I found it very painful.
And one of our close friends is severely disabled. He was born with a lot of problems. In the last 5 years, he's become totally blind, and he's worked all his life. But in the last 5 years, he's totally blind and wheelchair-bound, and in a bad way. They sent him a letter saying, you're fit for work. And it's just cruel when they do that.
But he sounds like he might be at retirement age now, or?
Well, yeah, but because retirement age is now 67.
What do you think, Albie?
Look, I think that this is actually refreshing from Labour, actually accepting that the benefits bill that we have in this country is too big, and it has become a lot bigger since the pandemic. We're talking about increases in people on sickness benefits in the high hundreds of thousands for people that are both over the age of 16 and 24. And actually, in the younger age cohort, we're seeing, I think, 600,000 more 16 to 24-year-olds out of work than before the pandemic. And Yasmin, are you seriously saying in the last 4 or 5 years, millions more people have become seriously disabled?
I'm not saying that.
No, they haven't.
I don't think I want to put a blanket judgment like this guy that they're all self-diagnosing and we shouldn't, take them seriously. And Kemi Badenoch saying, autism, oh, well, that's not a very serious thing. You don't do that. You analyse, you give people a fair chance. If they're fit for work, then make them work. But you can't.
That's what he's doing.
You can't just roll out.
You mentioned people who are seriously disabled. I have a lot of sympathy with your friend who's blind and in a wheelchair. However, the greatest unfairness is surely to them when you get many millions of people claiming to be disabled when they're not, if that's what's happening.
Exactly.
If that's what's happening.
No, we don't know. I want to see the figures. I want to see who is misclaiming these benefits. punishing the benefits is the easiest course for any government because these people are powerless. You know, why aren't we taxing the rich more? Why aren't we getting the royals to pay tax? Why aren't people focused on those who could well afford?
the
That's
royals-
That's a separate
No,
issue,
they're talking about the
Yasmin.
deficit in the treasury. We have a huge deficit.
How much would the
left
royals
by your
bring
party.
in? Well, how much would the royals bring in, do you think? If you tax the royals?
It's just unfair.
Andrew's not working. I
And
mean-
it's just unfair. They earn millions and they
Okay.
don't pay tax.
All right.
Millions
But
more
they
people
do pay tax.
are on benefits now than before the pandemic.
Yeah.
That is a serious issue that needs to be
But maybe
investigated.
we're iller. Maybe, listen,
Well,
to take the... maybe we're sicker.
I don't think we are. I don't
who
think we
are
are.
you to
I
say
think
that?
I think there was something which changed during the pandemic, and we see it when it comes to parents sending their children to school. Something changed between the social contract that people had to go out and do things, and now people just expect the state to pick up after.
So
them.
interesting.
so
you
unfair.
actually think that as a result of furlough, people began to think, oh, there's an option of not working.
Yes,
Wow.
and we are seeing that borne out in the evidence today.
That's so...
Just not. I don't believe. I want the evidence. I want somebody reliable, like IFS and so on, to do the studies and show us.
Like the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, both the Labour and the Conservative ones who know
I
the
don't
figures.
trust politicians on this. Because it's the easiest group to pick on.
OK, thank
I
you.
want proper
Stay with us.
statistics.
Linda in Kent, do you think that that Labour are right to do the Mel Stride thing here?
Yes, I do, quite honestly. I think with a lot of people, I don't say everybody, it's become a lifestyle choice. And this business with mental health, I find it very insulting, if I'm honest, because I've suffered with mental health problems all my life. And at 17, spent 5 weeks in a psychiatric unit and about 2-3 months away from work. And the very first day that I went back to work, I can still feel the terror of walking through the doors of BHS where I worked, because I was absolutely terrified, not frightened or nervous, but terrified. But I did it, and it was the best thing, Jeremy, I ever did, because I'd have never gone back to work otherwise.
You were obviously determined to work, and you would still have been mentally unwell at that point because it doesn't just clear. What was it?
Go away all your life, really.
Was it major depression or bipolar or schizophrenia or what?
Well, no, it wasn't as bad as schizophrenia, but I was suffering from severe anxiety and I suppose just the terror of going out.
Did you have medication for that then?
Eventually, yes,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to live on medication, so I gradually, with help, weaned myself off of it. I still do take some beta blockers to help me with my anxiety, but I come across these people. I think I've spoke to you about it before, Jeremy. I have a neighbour who thinks it's funny because he never worked. He's 47 years old and he's never worked. And he goes to in fact, I don't even think he goes to the doctors anymore. And he's off work with mental health problems. And it makes me so angry that he laughs at me.
It's ridiculous. I mean, if he's laughing, he can't be...
I'm getting away with.
Yeah, well, there we are, Yasmin.
Well, I
There's
do
your
admire you, Linda,
evidence.
and I think you're right. I'm working 12 years after I should have retired, and I think it's good for your confidence, it's good for mental health, but I'm also prepared to believe that there are people who just can't do it.
But is it the case, Yasmin, that if you create a more welcoming environment for people who may have milder mental problems like anxiety, you will get chancers who join the queue, like Linda's neighbour. And the trouble is the government has to root them out.
You know, we've all got individual cases. I gave my individual case. This is another individual case.
Well,
which
Linda
is
was
the opposite.
seriously ill. She went to hospital.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we should also be very wary to use those examples as an illustration of a generalization until we have the proper facts. There are people out there, I absolutely know, who are ripping off the system, but there are fewer of them than is alleged by various governments.
It's very hard to get facts with mental illness. If you have somebody in front of you who has major depression, you can't. They now have a scoring system which goes from 1 to 65, I gather. It's so. I mean, it could change from day to day. Well, how do you get the facts on this? In the end, you have to trust them that they're too ill to work, and it may be the government said we're not going to trust everybody anymore. That's basically what's happening here, isn't it?
There has to be a way for the government to understand who is really sick and who is not really sick. And I think we actually agree there are some people who could be working who aren't working. The question is, what is the method by which we find these people and get them back into
How about
work?
this? You say we do not pay out for anxiety. We don't pay out for anxiety anymore.
No, you don't know what anxiety does to people.
I may well do.
No, but you can't do that. You can't work if you're that anxious. So you can go to your job and you will be sacked because you can't actually do the job.
All right, let's take some more calls after the break. Back to your calls on whether the government should cut benefits to get more people into work. Let's get lots of callers on. Anne in Hertfordshire. Hello, Anne. I know you've been waiting. What would you like to say?
Yeah, hi, Jeremy. I'm disabled and I was badly burnt in a house fire and I cannot go back to work. And I've been claiming benefit for 30 years. And what I'd like to say is I came into an inheritance last year and I phoned the benefit system and I wrote to them and told them that I no longer need my benefit. Could you please take it back because I've come into this sum of money? And they said they couldn't.
Right. So
I had an indefinite payment and I had to stay on it for the rest of my life.
How odd. So this is almost the reverse of many people's situation. And you came into a large sum of money?
A large sum of money, nearly 80 grand.
80 grand. Oh, I'm glad you declared it, though.
But they wouldn't stop the benefit.
They wouldn't stop the... But it's very honest of this lady to say.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Give it to charity? Well, I mean, you probably still need it, though.
It has stopped now because they've changed it over to my pension.
OK, Anne, thank you. Interesting. Bianca in Kent, hello.
Hello.
Do you think they should start cutting benefits to people with disabilities? That's the question.
Well, as I said to your person on the phone, I said I'm on both sides because I've been claiming I probably get the highest amount of benefits that you can get, the sickness benefits, for the last 10 years. I do know quite a few people, though, that there's nothing wrong with them and they claim benefits. And I'm now scared stiff that we've got a different government coming in. I just think that the benefit system should be looked at properly because, I mean, I'm 48. I've been signed off for 10 years. Before that, I was a teacher and stuff. I spoke to you before.
What was your condition, if I may ask?
Well, it started as being classed as anxiety and depression, but it goes a lot further than that. You know, I went down to 4.5 stone. I lost most of my hair for alopecia, for anxiety.
Wow.
From the age of 15, I was having different therapies for anxiety.
And do you know what brought this on? Is there something in life that brought it on? No?
It just started when I was about 15.
Wow.
But I've still, after that, managed to go to university for 5 years, become a teacher and do that for 5 years.
Okay.
And then my anxiety's just got worse. And depression, when people say about depression, they do not understand what severe depression really is. And I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. So I just think it needs to be looked at. People's past needs to be looked at, their history. Like I say, I've just got a long line of lots going on with different therapies and evidence.
Right, so Albie, there's the case. Well, I mean, I guess if you were, I don't know, are you going to go hardline on this and say if there is a job that Bianca can do because she clearly is a great speaker on the phone?
No, look, I think Bianca's case sounds like a genuine case where Bianca needs the benefits that she is on. My question is, have millions more people become as ill as Bianca since the pandemic, as we have seen, which is why we're having this conversation? I would personally find that very hard to believe. All
right, thank you, Bianca. Helen in Glasgow, do you think the government should cut these benefits?
No. Good morning, panel.
Morning.
I wanted to make 2 points, if I get time.
Yep, go ahead.
One was that it is not easy to get on benefits. My daughter became disabled in her 50s in 2017. Up until then, she had paid the higher rate of tax. That's the kind of high flyer she was. Mm-hmm. It took us 2 years, and we are both articulate, educated people, to get her on the correct benefits.
She can't work, is that right?
Yes.
Is it, and is that a physical disability, a mental?
Yes, she has neuropathic pain in both her hands and feet. She lives in severe pain.
Yeah.
But it took 2 years of going to assessment panels and filling in forums and making appeals.
Well, I think, thank you, Helen, very much.
No, can I make my second point?
All right, I tell you what, if you don't mind waiting there, we'll take our break and then you can make your second point, Helen. Returning to your calls on whether benefits should be cut to get more into work. So, Helen, sorry, you had 2 points and then the ads, they pay for the chair, so we can't complain, but they got in the way. What would you like to say?
Well, the system that my daughter went through, this assessment system, was set up by the DWP under the Tory government. And I have read that well over 70%, once they've gone through all these assessment panels, they, as my daughter did, actually meet a panel with medical people on it. And more than 70% get awarded the
All right, so they're not just knocking out all the claims, as you might think.
No, but after you've got to your final assessment panel, about 70%, 70 or more, get the benefits. And this is because, and this means that it's a very expensive, it can't be saving much money.
They're trying to stop people claiming. Yeah, they're trying to stop people claiming.
No, it was ideological to treat people as scroungers and make them go through all these hoops.
Okay,
and therefore, the people without support in the community, and with savings, etc., often give up.
Helen, thank you very much. So, got to move on. Linda in Leicestershire, hi. What would you like to say?
Hi. I'd just like to say that maybe it would be a good idea if we brought in something like voucher books.
Voucher books? Yeah, I think. Sorry, is your TV on? Hang on. Let me just hold this up because I think I can still hear Helen talking. Voucher books.
Yeah, like vouchers for clothes and shopping for clothes and food.
Okay, so you couldn't spend it on cigarettes or whatever?
Like Botox and having your nails done, holidays, because I know plenty that do that are on benefit.
Is that the problem, Yasmin? People spending it on the wrong things?
I don't know enough about it, but I think this is quite a good idea, especially for food.
Yeah, but the thing is people see voucher books as patronising, Albie. That's the thing.
I don't think we should see voucher books as patronising. I mean, there was also this ridiculous policy brought under the coalition government where they stopped paying housing benefit directly to the landlord and paid it to the claimant who was living in the house. And that has now meant that thousands of people are in rent arrears because they're spending the money on other things.
Yeah.
We can't trust people to spend this money that's coming from the taxpayer on things like food, on things like housing, and it's having bad effects on society.
I don't know if it's about trust or whatever. We don't know what it feels like to live on benefits and have to deny yourself quite a lot of it.
But if your partner has a gambling habit,
But
let's say.
food thing is a very important one, especially when the cost of living went up.
But in America, they have food stamps, don't they? We haven't really gone for that here. Let's move on.